Hey there guys, GMO73 here, bringing you another feature match for this week. This is some footage that I got from Collinsville. I'm playing the blue-black Ogre Charlotte stealth list that a lot of us played at the event. I'm playing against my buddy Driz, who is playing his take on Lumia Hook, which is another really powerful deck, a popular deck that was at the time. So let's just see how it goes. So obviously the whole point of the Charlotte deck was actually to kind of combat Lumia Hook. We played a lot of stuff to kind of force them to keep on our curve in terms of killing their mana dorks and soul hunts and all kinds of other things, plus lunar lakes. But Driz and the people that he worked with on the deck also kind of planned for that as well, and had some pretty kind of interesting text that they used to kind of help make the deck a little bit more safe. So I will be on the draw, so I get that energized token. Driz hits that Perseus Memoria off the top and pays the 300 for it, and then passes the turn to me. Tap for stone, hit a Sorrowful Necromancy's Memoria, and pass the turn to Driz. Calls for his first stone. Plays a Sacred Elf and a second Sacred Elf. End of the turn, I'm going to go ahead and Unseen Pressure one of them. And draw. I wish I'd had a Soul Hunt at this point. But unfortunately I did not. If I had a Soul Hunt here, it would be much better, because I could just recover and again start tearing apart Driz's hand a little bit. But I decided to just kind of recover. I could also have cycled with Charlotte's Protector, but there really wasn't a point. So I'll play Artemis Bow, and I'll pass the turn to Driz. Hits a Gusting Skies stone. Pays 4 for a Kaguya's Moonbeam Butterfly. And he grabs a Sha Wu Jing. Now this is a card this is the kind of spicy tech that they use for the list. Sha Wu Jing makes it so I have to pay 1 more for any of my spells. So that immediately makes things a little bit more tricky, because I have to deal, I have to pay more, and Sha Wu Jing is a 7/8, so he has some pretty good strength behind him. After Driz has flickered in and recovered his Elf, I'm going to go ahead and tap it back down with Charlotte's Protector, which lets me draw a card. The reason why I'm doing that is I am trying to be able to essentially have plays for the next turn without having to worry about wall, wind, and things like that. I hit my Remains of Ataraktia stone, and which I do pay for, so go down to 3,700. Pay 2 to put a standby face down, I think. So I have to be careful here, because standbys will cost me 1 to flip them. But I still have to be wary, because Driz is going to be going to potentially 5 will next turn, so I have to make sure that I don't have to worry about a hook. So thankfully for me, he hits a Gusting Skies off the top, so I don't have to worry about it. But I also mess up here. I could have easily taken care of that Sha Wu Jing if I let him swing in. I could have just paid the 2 for the Charlotte's Water Transformation magic and then hit it with a bear. I'll hit another Remains of Ataraktia, pay another 300. Driz is going to flash in a Melfi, so I'm down to 3,400 life. Still in the end phase of my turn, I think. In response to the Melfi, I'm going to double flip Ryza in response to the Melfis. So the reason why I'm doing this, I'm trying to get rid of that Xiaobu Jing, and I'm also trying to get some Lunar Lakes face down. So like if I grab like Melder and then a Lunar Lake, then I'm prepared for dealing with the Captain Hook that was no doubt about to drop. So Driz, in response to my rises, is going to cast Faria's Summon, which he's going to go use to grab his Captain Hook. And the reason why I need to hit a Melder here is so that I can deal with the Xiaobu Jing, so that my Lunar Lake that's face down will happen. And then because he gets to untap his stones with Faria's Summon, he actually gets to go ahead and cast the Seal of Wind and Light and cancel one of the rises, which is unfortunate because now I'm only down to 2,400 life, which means I can't flip that Melder and take care of the Xiaobu Jing. So this next turn, I'm immediately just going to get hooked, and I can't answer it at all, which is really, really not good. So he's going to pay 5. He's going to play the hook. I can't pay for the Lunar Lake, so he's going to put my 2 Pain Stones back on top. Sorry for the glare there, but that is a Captain Hook. And now I'm in a really bad position because he's going to start flickering that hook every turn. There's really not much I can do to answer that. The fact that Xiaobu Jing is still just sticking around makes things really difficult for me. Hit the remain, go down to 2,100 life. The problem is Driz is at a position now where he can just hold cancel spells, and just because his board is so established, and he can just push that way. He doesn't really necessarily need to play any more cards. He's got a hook on board. He can just sit there with that, and eventually it's gonna be to the point where I can't do anything about it. So I'm thinking about how to try to get around here, and he's forcing me to kind of play on the back foot, which is really no good for control. So I'm going to go ahead and use Charlotte to try to tap down his Xiaobu Jing. To swing my Ryza into it to try to get it out of the way. Just gonna go ahead and block with the Melfi. I'm gonna go ahead and bow the Melfi and then cast 2 for Charlotte's Bear Magic on the Melfi to kill it, and then Xiaobu Jing. And then it is going to be a trade. I misread the stats on Xiaobu Jing. He's an 8-7, and I thought he was a 7-8. Just read the cards, people. And so I did have to spend a lot there, but I did get 2 cards off the board. The problem is now I've used my bow, and I can't answer that Captain Hook. So I'm just going to take 1,000 damage, and it's not going to be pretty. And again, like I said, Driz is at a position where he can just sit and swing in, and he doesn't necessarily really need to worry about his cards. Driz is going to swing in for 1,000. I'm going to take it. Puts me down to 14. Goes to the end phase, attempts to flicker the, or he's thinking about it, I guess. He's trying to see if he might want to do Judgment or something else, or he can't even do Judgment, it doesn't have a red source. So I'm not quite sure what Driz is trying to do here. He's going to go ahead and call Stone. It's another Gusting Skies. Flickers the Hook, try to cast the Lunar Lake. And like I said, he can just hold on, so he's got the Seal of Wind and Light. And so at that point, I think I just scoop. Because I can't even use this Melder. Yeah, I did a shortcutting there a little bit. This Melder would come out before the Hook actually resolves my stuff. So I'd still have a Darkness Magic Stone to be able to play the Melder. I guess if I did it in response, I had to do it in response to the Hook, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't have a Darkness Magic Stone. So like I have to hit that, pain myself down to 11 life. And I just say, yeah, you've got it. So I take it, and we go to game 2. So some pretty bad misplays for myself in dealing with that Jia Wu Jing. But hopefully this time it goes a little bit better. This time I'm going to be on the play. I see a Soul Hunt in my hand, which makes me feel much better. The big trick about playing against this deck is just wanting to make sure that I just keep them on curve, on my curve. So Driz is gonna go ahead and do 3, hit a Dark Depths off the top, play an Artemis Bow, and then pass to Driz. So pretty good start. I know I've got the ability to tap some stuff down. I've got a Soul Hunt. I've got a Lunar Lake. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good about that start. Just gonna go ahead and play a Sacred Elf, and then passes. So I don't know what I do here. So this is another big misplay for me. I use the Lunar Lake to tap it, like I used Charlotte to tap it down, mainly because I want this Soul Hunt to resolve. Because I don't want to get like hard canceled. If it was just Wall of Wind, that I can just pay for one, but I want like a guaranteed hard cancel. But that's really not a good use of my resources. Like discarding a Lunar Lake is actually pretty bad for me because I want to use it later. So that was a pretty big misplay. So he discards his Charlotte's Water Transformation Magic and then passes the turn, and then goes to his turn. So he plays 3. He plays that Jia Wu Jing out of his hand. So immediately this is bad. So like if I had a second soul hunt, it would be not a problem because I just soul hunted away for 2 and we'd move on. But that didn't work out that way. So I pay 2 to set a face down card. Driz gets another Gusting Skies, plays a Sacred Elf. Swings at me for 8. Take the 8, go down to 32. He's gonna flicker it in at the end of the turn. Thinking about whether or not to cycle that Charlotte's Protector now. I decided not to. I think, yep, it's not really worth it to cycle at this point. Play a card face down and pass the turn. I don't have to heal with a hook this next turn unless for some strange reason he has a Melfi right now, and then he hits a Deep Woods, which still wouldn't be terrible because he would still have to, he'd only be able to back it up with a Wall of Wind, and so I'd be able to Lunar Lake it, so I'm not terribly concerned there. I just have to deal with that Zhao Jing, like immediately. Calls for Stone, hits a Deep Woods. So he's not playing Hook this turn because he didn't flash in a Melfi, which is nice. Just kind of trying to figure out what he wants to do here. He's going to go into combat. He's going to swing. I'm going to take that. I'm going to go down to 24. Plays a Mana Dork. Passes the turn. At the end of his turn, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a Ryza. Attempt to pay 14 for it. Or pay a grand for it. This will put me down to 14. And I'm just going to immediately flip the Melder. The Melder, unfortunately, is going to get canceled, it seems, with a Seal of Wind and Light. Which makes sense. Draw for turn. During the upkeep, I'm going to go ahead and tap down the Zhao Jing. So now my Rise is going to be able to deal with it. And draw a card off the Charlotte's Protector. Move to recovery. So now it's nice because now I can get rid of that Zhao Jing pretty easily. I don't even necessarily really need to worry about dealing with the elf because I can just so this is another big misplay for me because I have the bow to deal with the elf if I need to. So I was like, wait a minute, I know he's got the Charlotte's Water Transformation Magic in the grave. I'll still swing into the Zhao Jing and kind of force some play. So he plays the Bear Magic, and here's where I mess up, like super hard. In response to the Bear Magic, I should just flip Melder and then immediately kill the Zhao Jing, and then I don't have to worry about it. But I do it after the Bear's gonna resolve because I'm dumb. And so now I'm still going to take a trade with Zhao Wuxing, even though I'm giving it a -4/-4. I'm still going to take 4 damage when my Charlotte, because I only have 1 stealth creature at this point. And so, because it removed all of its abilities because of the bear magic. So we still just trade. And that's because, yeah, there's no real reason to do that. I just mess up. So if I had done it in response to the bear magic, I would have been fine. My Ryza would have still been there, and I would have been in a much better position, because I would have just killed the Zhao Wuxing outright. I hit a Pain Stone, so I got to pay down because I tap for Stone. So I've still got some access to some stuff. I still don't have to deal with a Hook unless he hits a Deep Woods next turn, which is nice. So I can just kind of I can sit and be patient at this point, as opposed to last game where I had to kind of be on the back foot. Got another Ryza in my hand, but I can't do anything until that Melder is killed. So we're just kind of trying to talk about stuff. I'm trying to see how many cards he's got in his hand. He's got 2. Thinking about whether or not to set the Ryza, which makes no sense because I don't have a creature. I already have a creature on the board. So lots of misplays for me. I was very tired. This was day 2 of the AGP, after playing for 8 rounds the previous day. So pardon the misplays, but at least I can call them out on myself. And then see, I'm like, oh, in recovery, I'm going to do this. Oh, wait, I have a creature. I'm dumb. And I did that in the rounds, too. There was one point where I messed up that. So, pardon my misplays, people. Calls a stone. Hits the Blasting Waves stone, so I still don't have to worry about a hard cast Hook, unless he has a Moonbeam Butterfly. He can Moonbeam Butterfly a Hook in at this point, and he can back it up too with a Wall of Wind. It would just tap him out, which is not terrible for me because of the fact that I'm at 3 stones already. So there's the Moonbeam Butterfly. Try to make sure he knows exactly what he has to pay for it, that he taps properly. He brings in the Hook. I don't know why he didn't leave a Gusting Skies up. I would have left a Gusting Skies up over anything else. Because then he'd have access to Seal Mana for next turn, or Seal Will for next turn, but he doesn't. So out comes Lunar Lake. He's going to just let the lake kill it, which is very interesting as well, because he does have a Wall of Wind in hand. Or no, he spent the Wall of Wind in hand already. So that's just going to resolve, which is really nice for me. Means that, Driz just used a lot of will for that, and then he flickers at the end of the turn and passes to me. So now I'm at the point where I can start trying to make some plays. I'm going to be able to recover a little bit of life with Charlotte here by refilling my hand. I'll pay 2 to set a face down, because I think I drew into another Melder, which is really nice. And then I can pay 2 to do Judgment. And then with Charlotte I can draw 4 cards and gain 4 life. Play a Death Scythe, because at this point I might as well. Swing into one of his elves. And then I think I passed the turn there. pass the turn. If I had one more will, if I hadn't set that standby first, I could have just put him down to 0 cards in his hand, which would have been nice for me. But at the same time, I'm feeling pretty comfortable where I am right now anyway. Because if he does try to drop a hook at this point, he's got to deal with my Melder and then probably the face down Melder as well, which is just going to be difficult for him. If he even had access to one. He does have a Moonbeam Butterfly in hand, so he could tap for stone and then pay for another hook, but he probably doesn't want to, because he might be dealing with a second Lunar Lake. And if he does that, he wouldn't really have backup for anything other than Wall of Wind, and I've got the extra will to pay for it, so it doesn't really make sense. So he's going to go ahead and actually do Judgment for Lumia, which is a very interesting decision at this point, considering how I'm black control, and he doesn't have Swiftness or Imperishable. It seems like kind of a waste. That Lumia is just going to come out, and I think it's just trying to serve as a blocker for the Melder at this point, but it doesn't really seem that good. He plays a face down card, and then in the end phase, I'm going to go ahead and flip the Melder to kill the Dork. The reason why I'm doing it now is because standby cards, when they're first set, have to wait a turn, unlike stealth creatures. So by doing it now, I don't have to worry about it. I actually gain a life there for drawing a card, so I go up to 16. I'm going to go ahead and force Driz to get rid of that last card in his hand. Tap for a stone, hit a Shock Rock, go down to 13 life. Swing for 10. Takes it. Puts him down to 30. Swing for another 10. Puts him down to 20. He lets that happen. I just go ahead and pass. After he draws his card, though, I'm going to go ahead and double space time that Lumia and get it out of the way. So, gain a life, go up to 14. Space time it again. Gain a life, go up to 15. So now, even if he drops a Captain Hook, I'm in like massive advantage. So he just goes ahead and just scoops the game there, and we go to game 3. So again, hopefully that Jia Wujing has been kind of the biggest struggle for me to have to deal with. So hopefully this game I can deal with it a little bit easier, or see some soul hunts and stuff in the main, the opening hand. And we'll see how it goes. If I can keep hooks off the board and keep mana dorks off the board, the matchup is pretty one-sided. But having that Jia Wujing definitely pushes it a little bit back towards the middle for Driz. So obviously Driz is going to be on the play. Plays a first turn Tama, which is actually pretty good for me. If I had a Soul Hunt here, I'd be in pretty good shape. Which thankfully I do. He's going to go ahead and discard the Faria Summon. I'm going to discard a Charlotte's Protector and get to draw another card. I need to see a second Soul Hunt here. It's kind of weird how counterintuitive it is for me to play a Soul Hunt there. Dealing with the Jia Wujing, I'm going to go ahead and pay the 300, go down to 37. because I have to deal with that Zhao Wuxing immediately if it comes out, and Soul Hunt is kind of my easiest way to deal with it. And so unfortunately I didn't draw into a second one, which is pretty bad. Especially since it seems like Driz probably kept it in his opening hand. Or Driz has landed it, yep, kept it in his opening hand. Which is really no good for me, so I'm kind of regretting that Soul Hunt. Draw for turn during the upkeep because I have to deal with it. I'm going to go ahead and do Space-Time Anomaly using my Energize on the Zhao Wuxing. Hopefully maybe drawing into a Soul Hunt, not getting lucky enough, recovering, and then I have to tap out and just cast it again. So kind of unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and jam that Death Scythe there. Kind of unfortunate that I didn't see a Soul Hunt there, but at least I got rid of the one Zhao Wuxing, so he's just out of the way for the rest of the game, which is really good. Plays a Melfi during his turn. So he's got that Captain Hook in his hand. He's going to go ahead and grab a Farius Summon, which lets him grab something, and then he'll get to untap a stone. Try to see what he wants to grab here. You can grab a Mana Dork. And grab a Tama to draw power. You can kind of draw all kinds of stuff. He is going to go ahead and grab a Feasting, which is a very interesting call. It makes sense if I try to kill that, if I try to kill that Melfi, then he can just respond and kill it, or pump it up or something like that, which is nice for him, and it helps him grab his Monocle, which is another way that he makes use of things like of Hook. When he doesn't want to swing, he can just tap it down, produce some will, and then float some stuff. I'm going to pay 2 face down. Move to end phase. And I misplay here too. Should have double flipped those Melfis on or Rises on my turn. Would have given access to. I would have just set double Lunar Lake, which at that point would confirm that I could get a Hook kill, because he wouldn't be able to do Hook plus double Wall of Wind, so I could just immediately flip both. So instead, what I do is in response to the Hook cast, I'm going to go ahead and flip them both. Or in response to Hook targeting my stones, I'm going to flip them both, which is not good, which is a bad call, because now he can wallow in one of them and I can't stop it. He's got Seal Will in his hand too, so he's going to wallow in, and I can't grab a Lunar Lake here, because it wouldn't matter because I've already missed the trigger for Hook. So pretty bad misplays there for me. Just trying to see what I want to grab. If I should even worry about grabbing the Lunar Lake. Those 2 stones go back on top. And Black Moonbeam, which is garbage to me at this point, because he's not playing Lumia, or he's not really playing a ruler that flips. Go down to 24 life, because I hit a Shock Rock. And I don't really have a way to deal with that hook very effectively at this point. I'm going to go ahead and play another card face down. Pass the turn to Driz. Swing for 10. Take the 10, go down to 17. Flickers the hook at the end of the turn. When the hook comes back in, I'm going to go ahead and play the Lunar Lake. Gonna show me the Cancel Will. I'll go ahead and in response to the Cancel Will, play the Melder to try to kill the Melfi. Shows me the second, shows me the Feasting to pump it up, and in response I will just scoop, because at that point there's no way I'm coming back. So there you have it, guys. That is Lumia Hook versus Blue-Black Charlotte aggro. It can be a back and forth. The Jia Wujing definitely pumps it in Lumia's courthouse a little bit better. But huge thanks to Driz. Deck profiles will be up this Friday and Saturday. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. And until next time, this is TMO73 signing off.